So, you want to hear a story, eh? One about real heroes? Have I got a story for you?
When we were last with our heroes, the city was under siege by demons, and the blood and terror ran in equal measure. But our heroes battled on, certain that they would be victorious. After fighting back the demon army, a mighty Balor demon arose from under the city, bent on attacking our heroes. But they were ready for such a foe and pushed back the demon, forcing it to retreat through the portal from whence it came. Following this demon through its portal, our heroes found themselves in the 8th circle of hell and staring down its master, Mephistopheles, who claimed that their earthly bodies and souls now belonged to him. But he gave them a chance on a simple game of chess. But alas, this was no ordinary game of chess. It was a demon's chess, with real lives and souls on the line. And yet, even through his trickery, our heroes were victorious. And so they returned home and helped rebuild the city. And then, just as they were about to set out on the next leg of their journey, they disbanded. Maria would remain in the home that the party had built. She would remain there with her impromptu lover Charlie, living happily for the next few years to come and raising many children along the way. And thus, the half-kobold race was born. Ravis and Amaranthe would come to inhabit the forests surrounding the homestead. They would build it up and infuse it with ancient nature magic, reforging the connections with the ancient ley lines that lay below it, sleeping for centuries. Creatures of the Fae would come to call this land home in the time before the end. Taiga would leave on a grand pilgrimage in search of the destiny he was no longer certain of. He would spend most of his time assisting those in need that he met in his travels. This would gain him a fair amount of renown as a hero, but his greatest achievement would come when he decided his pilgrimage was at an end, and returned to his home city of Apophis. During his trip across the sandy dunes, he would be attacked by the mighty creature that lived there, a massive sand-dwelling purple worm. For 3 days and 3 nights, he was locked into battle with the mighty creature, neither side giving an inch. Through means of a clever distraction, he was able to defeat the great beast, and taking a trophy from it, returned home, where his renown would reach the level of legends amongst his people. Nala, in her many travels, would learn of her grandfather's death, and of her aunt and uncle's parley over the crown. It is then that she will return to Thurlder, where she would campaign and petition for her father to be reinstated as the true heir to the crown. Her words would fall favorably into the ears of the people, moving them to call for his reinstatement. Shortly after, Calibus will take his place upon the throne, and shortly following his coronation, he would step down as king, giving the crown to his only available heir, Nala, as Nakul had other duties to attend to as the new Archmage of the Wizards' College, following the disappearance of his predecessor. Nokrin would turn down the crown, instead insisting on being her advisor and general. A year after she had settled into the queenly life, she would marry Arin, in a massive political affair that would create the strongest army the world had ever seen. With their new alliance sealed, Arin would seek out audiences with the other rulers of the land, and over time build great alliances and friendships. Through his efforts, Snowspire Cove would no longer be seen as a cesspool of scum and villainy, but as truly equal superpower among the other ruling cities. Cal would continue his quest to rebuild his clan, returning to the village that once was his own. Over time, it would be rebuilt into its former glory. That winter, he would be married to Snelly, with the added condition that she be instated as the clan's chief engineer, to which Cal happily agreed. They would go on to have 4 children, each with different colored hair. Over time, they would go on to raise the clan back to being a household name, famous for helping those in aid using their skills as master mistwalkers. Snelly would study ancient technologies and use them to improve her own, eventually figuring out instant planar travel by means of portals. When the fated day comes, the sky will be shrouded in darkness, and the earth will rumble endlessly, falling apart bit by bit into the ocean. 3 days after it starts, the whole of Volterra will be crumbled and underwater, a great many of its people dead. Among them would be Taiga, Ravis, and Amaranthe. Arin, along with Nala, the ruling class, and a few other chosen individuals, would transport via extraplanar means to another faraway land to begin life anew. Cal, Snelly, and the remainder of their clan would escape the destruction via Snelly's portal, ending up in the elemental plane of water. They would call this place home for many years until they found a way back to the material plane, elsewhere in the world. Maria, along with Charlie and several of their children, would take ships and sail for the human mainland, where they would spend the rest of their lives, with Maria and her half-kobold kin later being seen as mythical creatures.
And so their story has come to an end. It seems these heroes were not fated to join us here at the Banshee's Wail, in the company of the heroes of legend. Join us another time to hear the story of another party of would-be legends. We thank you for your time.